In 1970, Patrick John won an election and began serving under Premier Oliver Leblanc. John later became the leader of the Dominica Labour Party after Leblanc resigned. The Labour Party-led government under Leblanc resulted in a better educated society with a civil service heavy middle class. However, such society's salary expectations began to exceed the government's budget. This led to Black Power radicals gathering under what was called the Movement for A New Dominica and the Civil Service Association becoming a relentless opponent of the Labour government. In addition, the Dominica economy of that era was dominated by foreign-owned banks, the British firm GEEST monopolizing the banana industry, cable and wireless in telecommunications, and Elrose and Company in the lime industry. Local ownership of businesses was not within the government control. As a result, the Labour Party government focused on land reform, institution building, and a buy local campaign to seek a socialist path. And I want you to remember this buy local campaign because it's also going to come up again under the Roosevelt-Skerritt administration. Let's hop back into Patrick John. Furthermore, as dreadlock-wearing youth were blamed for attacks on tourists and were accused of being linked to Black Power radicals, the government responded with force and passed the Prohibited and Undesirable Societies Act, which made it illegal to take the life of any dread found in a residence, allowed the arrest of any dread without a warrant, and denied bail to anyone with dreadlocks.
According to Patrick John, the Dread Act, or what we call the Act to make provision for the suppression of societies established for unlawful purposes and for the better preservation of public safety and public order and public morality, the Prohibited and Unlawful Societies Act of 1974, which is Act number 32 of 1974. There is no mention of dreadlocks in this act. What this act does, it says that in section 5, it says, any member of an unlawful association who appears in public or elsewhere wearing any uniform, badge or mode of dress or other distinguishing mark or feature or manner wearing their hair shall be guilty of an offense and shall be arrested without warrant by any member of the police force. When the act passed through committee stage in Parliament, it was Eugenia Charles who was the third nominated member of the opposition, the Freedom Party. She raised the point that in the schedule they mentioned dreads, but what was not put into the schedule was how do you define dreads?
That dread act thing. What was happening? Now they thought the Rastas were killing people, I think. Mm-hmm. So then so they found out it wasn't them, or they just started killing people. Now the dread act come because I think they'll kill Ted Honeychurch. Ted Honeychurch, which is the North Honeychurch father. Mm-hmm. And then there's why the dread. And then that's some guy called Choco Song. Mm-hmm. This is a lot of things. And then the dread now is to stay in the wood. But if again, because we investigate as women let's close. No close them. Okay. So that's why he passed the dreadlocks act. Anybody who see locks, so she should took it. No, like if they're just walking on the road. I should took them out the road. But Joey, it was they agree on the other things happening with the dreads. I think they took a girl, they took two girls from Portsmouth. Oh my God, Alma, that should be on TV. What? The girl from Portsmouth, they are taken and she's talking about it. She's about to rape her in the woods. True. And how she went to escape. Yes, there's a documentary about it on TV. Okay. I don't know if it's GIS. So the Russian watching anything going on with the Rastas. Okay. As far as one day about it,
Wait. Okay.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy. A big of a dreadful act. So they are going to say it had for the Prime Minister to get before PJ to get there. Yes. So in the meantime, when they move it, they want to kill.
I am currently editing the video, and I just want to send my heart out to anyone who was impacted by the Dread Act. Whether or not you agreed with the act, it is a part of Dominica's history. And as someone who currently has locks or dreads now, I can only imagine what it was like to be discriminated against because of my hair type or hair texture. That is something that is very real, particularly as someone who lives in the United States. And so my heart really goes out to the Rastafarian community who was greatly impacted by this act. The government's anti-dread campaign resulted in many innocent youth being brutalized, causing resentment against the Labour Party government led by Patrick Roland John. Despite this, John's administration made significant progress, including founding Dominica's National Commercial and Development Bank, eradicating shanty dwellings, and opening a new deep water harbor. John successfully led Dominica to independence from Britain on November 3rd, 1978.
Dominica is a very small country with limited resources. We believe that after independence, it is imperative on our nation to utilize the human resources that we've got and also our natural resources. We are going to concentrate on harnessing our water resources, our timber industry, and diversification of our agricultural potential.
Despite his mistrust of the political left, he included competent Dominicans without regard for party allegiance when trying to determine how Dominica was going to gain its independence. However, his attempts to quell opposition to his rule resulted in a clash outside of Parliament in 1978, which led to the resignation of several cabinet members. Nonetheless, in the 1980 election, daughter of bourgeoisie parents and lawyer, as well as head of the Dominica Freedom Party, Dame Mary Eugenia Charles won that election and became Dominica's first female prime minister. Also happening in 1978 was the introduction of the Carib Reserve Act, which basically introduced the Kalinago Territory as well as the Carib Reserve Council. And this is what the act states. It states that there will be the administration of an area of Dominica set apart under the act as a reserve and known as the Carib Reserve. Now it's known as the Kalinago Reserve. The Carib Reserve Council shall be constituted as a body corporate and shall be a local government body with the same powers as a village council. The council may make bylaws for the administration of the area, including such matters as drainage and sewage, pollution control, and the keeping of animals and sale of food. The authority may also protect the land of the reserve, establish public pangs, and allot land for purposes for agricultural development.